This last video of tutorial 2 talks about controlling spacing and indentation and font styles. So first, a couple of vocabulary words. Tracking. Tracking measures the amount of space between the words. So there's two aspects. There's letter spacing, which is space between the letters, and then there's word spacing, which is space between the words. Both of those are considered tracking, and it can give a different visual. This is all typography that we're talking about. The second vocabulary word is leading. Okay, leading measures the amount of space between the lines. And again, it gives a different visual. So usually it is measured in line height. So we're going to look at Notepad++ at the TSS_styles.css, and in the heading area, down here on heading level 1 and 2, just under the font family, we're going to add letter spacing. We're going to set it at 0.1 EM. Now, remember the EM is relative to the other item. So if it is 0.1, it's going to be much smaller. So for letter spacing that's smaller, it's going to draw them closer together. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is line height for our navigation. So I'm going to scroll down until I see navigation, and this is going to be a separate style. It's going to be nav and line height. This is going to be 2 EM. So 1 EM is what everything else is. So it's kind of comparing it to whatever everything else is. So if it's a 2, it's going to be double, if that makes sense. Alright, so I'm going to save this and view it in a browser. This is Firefox. This is the way it looks before my changes. Okay, and this is the way it looks after my changes. Alright, so next is font styles. Back to Notepad++. This is going to be in the footer styles. So I'm going to put body and then footer address. So this is going to be applied to the address in the footer. Set a background color. Oops. Set a color. Now remember, color is the font color. And then RGBA 255, 255. Remember, 255 is the largest. And then 0.7. Okay, remember the A stands for opacity, so those browsers that support the opacity will use that line instead of the regular white. But we put the color white just in case the browser does not support it. Alright, so here is our font properties. We're going to have normal, then small caps. Oops, no commas. I always want to put commas between there, but there's no commas. Okay, so let's talk about what we just typed in. Okay, so small caps, it's going to be just small capital letters. It's going to be bold. The font size is set to 0.9 EM, so it's a little smaller than the normal text. And I have /3 EM. This is the line height. And then the second line here is the font family. And then we're going to text align center. Alright, so that's a lot of changes to the footer. So I'm going to save this and view my browser. So right now my footer is way down at the bottom. I'm going to refresh my page and hopefully everything will work. And it didn't. So I'm going to look and see what happened. Okay guys, sorry about that. I found my error. I had something misspelled. So your footer should look like that orange bar at the bottom.